What's going on, everybody? It's Buddy here. So today I'm going to show you guys how to find a leak in your vehicle. We are working on a Chevy Blazer, but this is going to be applicable for any vehicle you have. It's not going to matter, so let's jump right into it. Now all you guys are going to need here for this job is just this stuff here. You're not going to need a big manifold gauge set like this. This is a professional set. It's not needed here for this job. You can get one. They're very convenient, especially when you're going to be filling your AC backup after you seal the leak. These are definitely important. But all you're going to need here, this is a black light flashlight. I got this set right here on Amazon with the UV glasses. It's only about 17 bucks. I'll put a link in the description. And then UV dye. This is going to be the stuff that's going to show us where the actual leak is. It's pretty cheap. We're going to need something to fill it up with. This cheap hose right here is only about 8 bucks. I'll put a link for that as well. And there's a can of Freon here. They do sell it pre-packed with the leak detector with the Freon. It's like 40 bucks. I definitely don't recommend that. All this stuff here is going to be way under that, and you're going to be able to use this multiple times. So let's jump right into the project. So the first thing we need to do is locate where we're actually going to fill it up. Right here on the accumulator of this car is where we're actually going to fill it up. This is the low pressure side. You can tell by the thicker tube, and this is the high pressure side. You can tell by the skinnier tube. You always want to hook it up to the low pressure side. It is dummy proof. Your set will only let you hook it up to the low pressure side. It will actually not fit here on this valve. So now what we're going to want to do is take our hose where we're going to fill up the AC, and we're going to take our UV dye, unscrew it, and we're going to pour it right here in the hole. So now that we got it filled up with dye, we're going to plug it into our low pressure Schrader valve. Then we're going to screw our can of Freon in. Now we're only going to need 1 can of Freon here. It doesn't even need to be full. All we need to do is just pump a little bit of Freon in there just to push that UV dye in there so we can see where our leak's coming from. Now when your car is real low on Freon or out of Freon, there's not enough pressure in the system to actually trip the sensors. So your condenser clutch won't engage, so it won't actually suck the Freon through the system. So what I'm going to show you guys real quick is just how to jumpstart your compressor clutch. Now we're going to be zooming in here on our actuator sensor. Most cars do have a sensor. You're just going to look for the low pressure line. Again, the low pressure line is the thicker tube, not the skinnier tube. And how we're going to do that is we're going to unplug this sensor here, and we're going to take a little staple, and we're going to just connect the two sides. So we're going to shove it in there, and that's going to click on our compressor. That way it's going to suck in all the Freon into the system so we can get our dye in there and see where our leak is. So now I'm going to go in the vehicle, start the engine, and turn the AC on max AC with the fan all the way up. So you can see the compressor's not running, it's stuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our little staple in and watch what happens. So now that our compressor's kicked in, we can start putting the Freon in there and pump some of that UV dye. So now that the AC dye is running through the system, we're going to let it run for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to check it out. Alright, so it's been about 15 minutes. Now what we're going to look for is we're going to follow these two lines, this line here and this line here. And they're going to run here. This is the evaporator core. Sometimes on the accumulator O-rings. Any gaskets, they also go down on something called the condenser. It's those lines down there. So we're going to look there. And that runs to the front of the car. I undid this plate, so we're able to look back here. So let's get our flashlight and see what we got. Glasses on. It's time to take a peek. Obviously there's a little bit of a spill here, but that's what we're going to be looking for. This is the UV dye where we hooked it up to our Schrader valve. So we're going to come down here. All this looks good. And we're going to come down here. Down there. Looks like there's no leak there. And we're going to check out our fittings here. That looks fine. We're also going to take a peek at our compressor. Make sure it's not leaking out. Any gaskets. All that looks good. Here on the fittings of the compressor. All that looks good. Going to take a peek here at our condenser. the other side. All that looks good. So as you guys can see, everything looks good. All of our fittings, our hoses, our low pressure line, our high pressure line, all down here. We're not seeing any kind of glowing like this. Even our condenser, everything looks perfect. So the only thing it can mean is that's something here called the evaporator core. If you can't find anything, your evaporator is what's bad. It's a very common issue with leaks, especially in this vehicle. Now back here, let me get some light on for us. Most people have it actually inside of their dash. Mine is going to be right here. It's still really hard to get to, but at least you know exactly where the leak's coming from. So if you do this job and you find your leaks right here, or somewhere down here in these fittings, you'll actually be able to know what you're getting into. If you want to take it to a shop, you want them to do it. You don't feel like messing with it. You want them to recharge your system. At least you'll know they're not trying to rip you off, trying to sell you a compressor, trying to sell you anything that you don't really need. Now, if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Now, if your luck is better than mine, you'll run into that situation. Hopefully you don't need a condenser. Hopefully you don't need anything crazy. Hopefully it's just an O-ring. And be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get all notifications here from me. And also, if you haven't, check out my channel. I got a lot of really cool videos already on the channel, like how to repair a curb rash on your rim. Also, how to paint your rim and brake calipers. How to paint your car and get a professional looking result with nothing but spray cans. How to repair scratches on your car at home with no expensive tools, and much, much more. So be sure to subscribe and leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video.